Welcome to the exhibition Artist Tools at Special Special in the East Village, New York. This show was set to run from March to the end of May 2020, but we've had to close our space amidst the COVID-19 outbreak. Until we can open up again for in-person viewing, we're excited to take you on this video walkthrough of the works included in the exhibition and give you a look at the gallery. In the front, we have the piece Untitled Pedestal by Kuning Huang. It's a walking or self-driving pedestal. This clip is from the opening night of Artist Tools. We've set it up right here in the window as an ever-active gallery attendant, pacing back and forth on its own accord. The exhibition includes 49 works by 32 artists. This was the first time we held an open call at Special Special. We took submissions that fit two categories: a tool made by an artist for use in some practice of art making, or a tool made by an artist for use in an activity related to daily living. The show features tools of both categories and just about everything in between. We designed the space to feel like a working studio environment, with pegboard-clad walls and organized groupings that seem to make the tools readily available for use. Each tool has a hang tag that shows a picture of its outcome, either of the tooling in use or of what's created by using the tool. We chose to feature photos of the outcome rather than actual accompanying works, to focus on the tools as works of art in their own right. The groupings are based loosely on shared formal and functional qualities and include a performative wall, a mark-making wall, a wiry wall, a series of templates, and a number of technological tools. In this walkthrough, we'll let you know our thoughts behind our 6 installation groupings of tools and tell you a bit about each individual tool. So let's move into the gallery and take a look. Here is the Skateboard Toolbox by Max Spitzer. This is a classic, well-worn skateboard with a custom and permanently attached toolbox. One surprising material in this piece is a birch stick. The Skateboard Toolbox is for kicking around a studio and always keeping your tools within reach. Above it, we have a hygrothermograph provided by James Carzan. This instrument measures the temperature and humidity in a given space and is often used for archival purposes. For this exhibition, we worked with Carzan to present a special edition of drawings, produced automatically by the hygrothermograph during the exhibition. Each site-specific drawing records changes in the temperature and humidity of the gallery on a custom chart paper designed by Carzan in collaboration with Special Special. The chart paper includes a line from a poem by David Berman saying, "These words are meant to mark this day on Earth." The hygrothermograph is set to complete one rotation every 24 hours. So for the occasion of the exhibition, we originally planned to produce one drawing for each of the 81 days of the show duration. Since we've been closed during this quarantine period, we've been unable to change the paper daily. The hygrothermograph has continued to produce these works on paper, sometimes making several rotations and recording a number of days before the paper can be changed. The resulting drawings are especially unique, layered records of this unusual time. And now we're moving over to the performative wall. The common quality with these analog tools is that the action of using or making them is as much the outcome as any tangible thing they produce. The first tool is this stuffed fabric arm titled Practice Arms, made by Izzy Vandenhuel. It's a tool to practice the art of holding hands with. Izzy also makes accompanying ink and watercolor drawings that demonstrate how to hold a hand that go with this piece. The fingers are filled with plastic beads for weight. Next to it, we have this make-use doorstop and wall hook by Dear Zhang. This is a series of objects that are created to be shaped around their surroundings, rather than affect or leave a mark on something that's already there. Dear casts these resin tools to be site-specific. For this show, Dear came to Special Special and cast a custom doorstop, wall hook, and bookends in our space. These are the tools we have on display. The bookends are installed in our adjacent room. The idea behind Make Use is that customizing these types of objects that are often made to work in any environment makes the user take a minute to slow down and think about the object's function. Below make use, we have the solid brass doorknob piece called Begin Again, made by Steph Mantis. Steph made this doorknob to symbolize new beginnings. The act of opening a door is tied to starting something new or embarking on a journey. So this doorknob, both physically and symbolically, holds weight to it. The two words begin and again are carved into the doorknob, and they're aligned to emphasize the two last letters of each word, which in both begin and again is the word in. This serves as a reminder that to truly begin again, we must ultimately journey inwards. Installed on a shelf below Begin Again, we have Artists Are Everything, a book by Hannah Narowski on fan culture and stories from people that have been using the deck of character. A modern oracle deck created by Hannah that Special has carried in our shop for long. The deck of character is a tool to guide people through life and connect them with their intuition by pulling cards. Artists Are Everything documents how different people have been using the deck as a tool on their artistic and personal journeys. Next on the performative wall, we have two ice trays, one large and one small by artist Half Wet. The silicone is hand-formed like clay into an ice tray with occasional fingerprints from the process permanently embedded in the silicone, transferring to the ice that it makes. The tray exists between personal and synthetic, handmade and mass-produced. Lastly, we have these marbled matchbooks by James Curzan that have a phone number written on the inside. You can call the number, and with the option of pressing different keys, you can step further into a poetic world where a voice reads out prompts to you. The number is 718-554-3854, should you want to call. This concludes our look at the performative wall. We're moving over to the next grouping of tools, the mark-making wall. These tools vary in appearance and materials, but their common purpose is to continue a tradition of art by leaving marks in various ways. So come along as we look at them more in depth. First, we have the Maca tool, in both a tall and small size. Maca was designed by Agnes Fries and Giada Montemoli to paint porcelain with. The tool is made out of ceramic with a replaceable sponge inside. Maca was developed in Jingdezhan, China, next to traditional craftsmen. It combines simple shapes inspired by traditional wood brushes and sharp lines that suggest a more graphic and geometric touch. It's made for painting traditional blue and white Chinese porcelain and was used to create the collection Something Blue, which you can see here. The decoration uses basic lines that show the shades of the marker, inspired by calligraphy. Above Maca, we have 3 crayon tools by Song-Yi Kim. These drawing tools, titled Party Crayon number 5, 9, and 1 respectively, were made with unwanted and worn-out crayons from artist studios. The party crayons, fused together in various shapes, can be used to create colorful and unexpected drawings. They can also be presented as formal objects. To the right of the crayons, we have 3 tools by Sophia Klaus. The first one is called Pencil Dancers and consists of a number of long and short pencils held together with tape. You use pencil dancers by holding the entire tool with one hand from the outer edges. By applying pressure on the sides, the width of the stroke changes. As the artist says, Pencil Dancers is awkward and hard to control, and as such allows for the tool to behave in its own ways. Below it, we have squeegee fingers. This tool was made by cutting a screen printing squeegee in 5 parts, rotating them and sandwiching them together. Typically for screen printing, one uses the flat surface of the rubber to print. But in this case, Sophia decided to look at the side of the rubber and used it to print parallel lines. The nut and bolt allow for lifting and lowering each of the 5 parts to allow for different combinations of strokes when using squeegee fingers. And here, is another tool by Sophia Klaus. This is Cars Tools, made with toy cars and markers for the cars to draw their own racetracks as they drive. Next, we have 2 pairs of modified gloves titled You Can Do It by Yin Ming Wong. These gloves have the space where your fingerprints go cut out and come in different versions, such as rubber gloves or cotton gardening gloves. They're made for those who like to be clean and warm while doing something messy, like finger painting. Yin was inspired to make these after seeing an old man struggling to get his gloves off at the fingerprint station when passing through customs. Next to the gloves, we have a tiny tool by Sei-Wei Wang titled Carbide Ring. This tool plays off the idea of making a traditional diamond ring useful. Carbide, which is extremely hard, replaces the diamond here, making the ring a tool that can be used to make marks on metal, glass, plastic, and many other materials that can be etched into. And lastly, we have another tool by Sei-Wei Wang, the hot plastic gun. This tool makes 3-dimensional marks rather than flat. This is a form-making tool, allowing the user to create free-form 3D drawings at the scale of the human body. It's a handheld tool that takes plastic pellets, melts them, and extrudes them through interchangeable dies. As the plastic exits the nozzle, it meets a powerful stream of mist that cools the plastic to harden it. It's installed here on top of a custom box made by Sei-Wei for transporting it. This concludes our look at the mark-making wall, where we've shown you a variety of tools with a common purpose. Next, we have the wiry wall. The tools installed on this wall are all different in what they're used for and create, but their formal qualities of being elongated, thin, or wiry, and having visual similarities overall, made us intuitively group them together. So here they are. First on the wall, we have something that clearly belongs on the wiry wall. The grid by Northy Chen is a bag of sorts, made out of stainless steel wire. It's a way of carrying with a blurred distinction of inside and outside. Cylinder-shaped belongings are secured in the wire mesh, and belongings of other shapes, like a phone, can be attached using customized accessories. The accessories and the grid are part of a larger collection by the artist, called Emergency Use Only. Below it, we have Edi and Budu by Jawahir Ozodigan. These are 2 3D printed weaving shuttles. The artist modeled them to her preference, and as Jawahir says, they help make her practice more fun. Next, we have the Quick Square String by Becca Getty. This string has 12 knots tied at even intervals. When the string is pulled, it forms a 3-4-5 triangle and can be used as a quick square. This knotted string is thought to have been invented by the Babylonians as an inexpensive and portable method for finding a right-angled triangle. The quick square string is designed at a length to be worn as a necklace when not in use as a tool. Above it, we've installed another long and narrow tool to make clear lines on the pegboard, as the installation follows the shape of the tools. This is the non-reflecting versatile alligator clip by Kevin Abosh. Kevin is a photographer by trade and made this clip to be of use in photo shoots. It's spray painted matte black as to not reflect light onto anything it's used to hold up. It's made out of a chopstick, alligator clip, and paint, and apparently comes very much in handy in Abosh's photo shoots. At the very top of the pegboard, we have a sharp and impressive tool, the Wolverine Claw by Brett Goajian. This tool is made out of 20 razor blades attached to plywood and oak cutoffs. It has a dowel handle and is held together with various hardware. The tool is of use in Brett's art practice, where she uses it to efficiently slice plastic bags that are then knit or woven together into sculptural pieces. Next, we have 3 variations on a tool created by Ludovic Naumann. Nauman is a digital artist that works with games, and as such need a lot of wires connected to his computer. He's also the owner of 2 bunnies that like to chew through the wires, and to protect his practice and craft, he's made many attempts at bunny-proofing the wires. First in the frame, we see bunny-proof attempt number 15, bandage. This iteration uses cotton fabric and glue to keep the bunnies off Nauman's gamepad wires. Hanging next to it is bunny-proof attempt number 24, in the silver closet. This is a 9-foot-long USB cord wrapped all around with thick black wool. To round off the wiry wall tour, we have bunny-proof attempt number 45, short striped cocoon. This is a gamepad with a wire on it. Around the wire, Nauman has created a cocoon out of cords and wool to protect from the bunny bites. This finishes up our look at the first room. In our adjacent room, we've installed our template and technological tools. We'll start by looking at the template tools. They come in various materials and surprising shapes, and are used to guide artistic expression or enable for it to be repeated and multiplied. Shown here is Shopping Cart by Winslow Funaki, a custom-made and fully functional shopping cart composed of various industrial materials that are carefully combined for a one-of-a-kind way to get your groceries. A shopping cart can be considered a template of routine, a physical framework for containing a certain amount of food or objects that are then distributed or used over a period of time. It's continuously reused in the same way, and most likely over the same geographical map, an involuntary template of sorts, forming habits over time. Next to it, installed on a shelf, we have the Tilt Warp Reflect Jib by Dell Hard & Hoyle. It's a supporting arm for holding a phone camera to film a curved reflective surface. This jib can be considered a template for producing a consistent and distinct effect. Video produced with the jib is abstracted in a way that's determined by the camera's position in relation to the curved reflective surface. Hanging on the wall, we have a large version of a template. This is a platform jig made by Connor Klein titled Miter Sled. It slides across the top of a table saw while holding pieces of wood in place for accurate 45-degree miter cuts at repeatable lengths. Next to the Miter Sled hangs Template for Intersection series by Marty Homer. This paper template was made to create a set of paintings titled Intersection series. The template represents a schematic for a launching device, such as in a nuclear code box. The Intersection series is about a battle between nature, represented by spontaneous calligraphic lines, and that which is man-made, the designed rectangular box. Next to it, we have this blue acrylic screen that was used to produce an edition of prints for Tim Simmons' show Talks to Me, which was on view at Special in the spring of 2019. Tim produced paper made out of celery and printed a custom playable version of a scratch ticket on it. The screen we see here was used to apply a clear finishing coat to a specific layer of the scratch tickets, allowing only certain layers to be removed when scratched. The black acrylic guide was used in an earlier step of the process. The screen was placed over an uncut sheet of tickets and used as a guide for filling in the game portion of the prints, with individual letter and number stamps selected at random. The stamps look like this and are made out of hardwood and rubber. The special team worked with Tim to help fill in these sheets of scratch tickets, using the guides and stamps shown here. Lastly, we have 3 porcelain coasters by Patrick Carlin Mohundro, titled Coaster Paintings. They have the form and surface texture of small stretched canvases, and by using and spilling beverage on them, the user ends up making involuntary action paintings on the coasters. Once you've dirtied the set of 3, the artist will give you 4 clean ones as replacement, given that he can keep the finished coaster paintings. In the same room, we have various exciting technological tools. ranging from a software with a nonchalant attitude to a robotic basketball game. First, we have The Price is Kind of Right by Vincent Koselleck. This is an interactive program. The artist describes it as an anti-calculator, a lazy calculator, a calculator for the post-capitalist era. Its purpose is to kind of guess the result of an operation. This calculator gives you an estimate of your calculation with a nonchalant answer. It's meant to be used for everyday situations like buying groceries and personal accounting. Next to it is Dongle Synth 2.0 by Thierry Kanonaruk and Sebastian Morales. This is a fully functional augmented USB hub. If a keyboard is connected to the fourth port, the dongle transforms into a dynamic audio synthesizer. By hitting different keys on the keyboard, the Dongle Synth 2.0 can be used to make a variety of sounds that can be looped and turned into wild beats, in the words of Thierry and Sebastian. To the left of the Dongle Synth, we have a laptop with VozMaker by Lorraine Lee installed on it. VozMaker is a software that generates 100 randomized Voz shapes every time you click it. 200 of the shapes created by VozMaker have been compiled into a book by Lee that's installed next to the software, standing up with the support of Dear Zhang's two make-use bookends. To the left of VozMaker, installed on a shelf, we have STP-1000 synthesizer teapot. This is a fully functioning teapot and analog synthesizer, capable of playing musical scales and notes, or unusual drone sounds. This stoneware teapot synthesizer is the work of Britt Mosley, who uses it for his multiple music projects. Across from the teapot, installed on its own bench, sits Matchpoint by Marianne Villa. This is an autonomous basketball game. Two motorized players, controlled by an Arduino, are trying to play basketball, sometimes hitting the right keys, most of the time not. The artist considers it a tool to play basketball with, without having to get up yourself. And with this, the walkthrough is done. You're now familiar with Artist Tools, Special's exhibition of tools made by artists to aid in art making or in daily life. We hope you enjoyed learning a bit about each of these tools, and we encourage you to visit the show to experience them in person once our space reopens. Thank you to all of the featured artists and everyone who submitted work to our first ever open call. To learn more about Artist Tools and Special, visit specialspecial.com, where many of the tools are available for sale. All images in this and other walkthrough videos are courtesy of the artists, as well as some small video clips. Thank you for watching.